It's almost unbelievable to think that the Nintendo Switch is now 5 years old, and with it comes the start of a brand new spring season that's set to drop even more classic into this rather popular console. Let's just check out 8 upcoming games that are set to release in this spring. And there's truly no better place to start than Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which is set to release on April 5th. This is one of the highest upcoming releases for the Nintendo Switch, but also all gaming in general when it comes to 2022, and for obvious reasons. You'll be playing as Jedis, Sith, Rebels, Bounty Hunters, Droids, you name it, you can play at it because you're basically going to be experiencing and reliving all 9 Star Wars films. This means that there will be hundreds of playable characters, varieties when it comes to playing on land, underwater, and space, checking out different vehicles, checking out different options. You can basically play any way you want with any of the fan favorite characters, which is also set to include some of the more popular ones from their most recent TV shows that made Star Wars fan favorite all over again. Now, one of the first party Nintendo games we're going to be able to see this spring season is, of course, Nintendo Switch Sports, which is also set to release on April 29th. And the way it's clearly being marketed is a direct sequel to the Wii Sports extremely popular game that almost pretty much everyone ended up playing at the end of the day. Here you're going to be able to play soccer, volleyball, bowling, tennis, badminton, and chambala, which is sword play. All the Joy-Cons are going to be able to be used, of course, and they're even going to let you use like a leg strap to be able to play soccer, and they're also going to be doing an addition for golf. Now, there are some rumors for other sports being added in. We're not going to worry about that too much just yet, but at the end of the day, online play will be active. Presumably the online will be as good as it was in the stress test that they provided us with. You're going to have like 18-player battle royale bowling and plenty of fun when it comes to being able to play with friends and strangers online as well. Now, one of the popular, most interesting releases we're also seeing is on March 17th with the release of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. This is basically a remaster of a rather old game that's now going to include not just all the previously available DLC, but it's also going to include fan favorites and even dual audio, so you're going to be able to play this game in both Japanese and in English as well. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is considered basically like the second half of Persona 4, even Golden for that matter. It's kind of like the conclusion of the entire experience for all of those characters, and it leads rather well into Persona 5. Again, the base Persona 4 game is not on Nintendo Switch, and neither is Persona 5. Persona 5 Strikers is, but not Persona 5. So it is interesting that they're providing us with kind of like the sequel games of the main Persona experience without Atlus committing to provide the base experience of Persona 4 and Persona 5 on the Nintendo Switch. With that said, this is a pretty good fighting game that fans of Persona will definitely be checking out for sure. Now, it goes without saying that on March 25th, just about everyone will be checking out Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is the new upcoming experience for Kirby, and you're going to be able to have 3D stages as you discover mysterious worlds in a pretty much abandoned set of structures from past civilizations. You're going to have the option to be able to rebuild the DDD town. You're going to be able to have an option to check out different levels and a ton of brand new different power-ups. Not just in the typical fashion where Kirby kind of sucks in an enemy and then is able to kind of like do their abilities, but you're also going to be able to have abilities from like static items. And of course, the car has been a rather popular one. You can basically just drive around as a car as Kirby kind of inhales it, but doesn't consume it as he usually does with most of his enemies, because I guess items cannot be consumed in that fashion. There is a demo available on the Nintendo Switch eShop for this game, so you can certainly check it out already. And it has been extremely popular already from everything that we have seen. So this is shaping up to be one of Nintendo's first party's biggest releases this spring season. Now, the House of the Dead remake is set to release on April 7th, and this is one of those really interesting releases because it almost came out of nowhere. It was revealed, I believe, in the Nintendo Direct in one of those slides that they put up, and then kind of like no one picked up on it. And then when people actually checked out the trailer, it was like, oh, this is looking really interesting. You might be seeing that in the B-roll that we're seeing right now. And then we started to find out that this is actually not completely related to like Sega at all. It's actually being made by Forever Entertainment, and Sega is just kind of like allowing them to make the game. They're basically rebuilding the graphics to modern audiences, mechanics to new modern audiences, This is basically because the original source code for the game was kind of lost. So they're just building everything from scratch. Everything is going to be brand new, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to have like gyro controls. It's going to have Joy-Con movement, so you're not going to be able to be too locked into like button controls if you don't want to. It's just going to have all those things that these kind of like zapper games from back in the days were always known for. If you like Mario and you like soccer, then June 10th is the day for you, because that is when Mario Strikers Battle League will set to release onto the Nintendo Switch. You're basically going to be playing on 5-on-5 soccer versus other Mario characters in the Mario world. You're going to have these boosted abilities. You're going to be able to pull off fantastical attacks, fantastical moves, and you're going to be able to customize your character with gear and augment their stats and appearance at the same time. Of course, you're going to be able to play online, but then you're also going to be able to take this online, we'll play with like 8 other people, and then you're even going to have the option to play in the league with up to 20 other different players. So you're going to be able to control your team, kind of like players do already in FIFA, where they have these like online leagues, but now you're going to be able to do that with Mario Strikers of all things, which is extremely funny, bizarre, but also one of those fan favorite games that Nintendo finally decided to listen to the audience and decided to finally drop a brand new version on the Nintendo Switch. Releasing on April 12th is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. This is a 2D side-scrolling adventure game featuring gorgeous art and beautiful environments. This is basically a kaiju versus robots strategy game slash visual novel that's been available on PlayStation before, and I can't stress enough just how beautiful this game is. It's got a rather deep story. It pretty much has 13 protagonists, as the name suggests, where you are basically going to be advancing the story throughout, so you can choose who you ever want to start with. You get to a certain point and then you can jump off to another character, see their side of story, and you basically do that with all 13 characters until you see the end of the game. There's a pretty easy way to see the true ending, to be able to see all the battles, all the engagements, and there's a lot of lore here to pick up on. So this is going to be one of those hefty games that once you pick it up, you're going to be playing it for 30 to 40 hours, and you're going to have a great old time enjoying this rather expansive experience. Now finally dropping on June 24th is, of course, Capcom Fighting Collection. This is one of Capcom's newest collections that is going to include just an insane amount of content. First and foremost, you have Darkstalkers. You also have Night Warriors. You have Vampire Savior. You have Vampire Hunter 2. You have Vampire Savior 2. So that's 5 Darkstalkers games. You also have Red Death, which is the very first time that this game is going to be available on consoles. You also have Cyberbots, a classic Super Nintendo game. You're also going to have Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. You're also going to have Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix, and of course Hyper Street Fighter 2, because Capcom is obligated to put a Street Fighter game pretty much in every single one of those collections. So there's a hefty amount of content here. You're going to be able to play online, you're going to be able to play with other people, and offline you're going to have training modes, you're going to have a gallery, you're going to have display options, you're going to have customizable buttons. Anything you can think of, pretty much that a typical fighting game already has. 400 music tracks, all of that is going to be there already, so you are not going to be missing out on any content. And more importantly, fans of Red Death, Cyberbots, and more importantly Darkstalkers are finally going to be able to get these games on a console, which is of course is also going to be on like PlayStation, Xbox, and on PC as well. So you can pick it up on any one of those consoles and still have a great time. But that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. These are just 8 of the higher profile releases that are set to drop onto the Nintendo Switch the spring of 2022. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.